From left to right, we have Herman A. Snap, Joe Nido, Mr. Kloss, Tom Kloss, and Shirley Kloss. Madichai with her grandchildren, Robert, Ruthie, and Clarence. Mary Cable Birdsong. Sitting in front is Mrs. Tacconi. Left to right, Lola, Tatsi, Flora, May Bigbo, and Ivy Mowat. Joe and Annie Gomez on their 40th wedding anniversary. 10 years later, Joe and Annie on their 50th wedding anniversary. Dick and Linda Gerbrandt and family, and Luella and Donnie Yokesawite. Wyma's funeral, Mr. Gerbrandt leading the committal service. Grace Hoava, Julia Bread, Flora Roach, Annie Gomez, Linda Gerbrandt, Annie Shabata, and Ann Neufeld. The Post Oak congregation, after a Sunday morning service in 1952. Joe Bigbo and Scott Bread. Mooney Shabata, newly elected Sunday school superintendent in 1952. The following are a number of Sunday school classes and daily vacation Bible school groups. The teachers for this class are Lola and Lizzie Pachica. Another class. Joe Bigbo is the teacher of this class. This class has Elizabeth Sawatsky as teacher. And the Young People's class with Mrs. Alvina Fast Bose. Linda Gerbrandt is the teacher for this class. This is the Young People's class. Older young people with Dick Gerbrandt as teacher. Mr. Herman Neufeld taught the young men's class. Annie Gomez and her class. This class has James Shabata as teacher. And David Shabata teaches the old man's class. This is a daily vacation Bible school class with their teachers, Anna Mae Bigbo and Rosie Asatami. 5-year-olds at Daily Vacation Bible School, the teachers are Arlene Roach and Virgie Cable. The primary class, Daily Vacation Bible School teacher, Anna Mae Bigbo. Again, a daily vacation Bible school class with Flora Roach as teacher. Another aspect of the activities was the Magdalena Sewing Circle. Here the women are hard at work quilting. In the Ministry of Music, we had the Friendly Five Quintet with Linda Gerbrandt as accompanist and instructor. The members of this quintet are Buster Parker, high tenor, Perry Heath, second tenor, Carlton Hall, wah baritone, and Clifton Mowat and Lee Heath, the low bass. They sang at church services, camp meetings, and in homes and hospitals for the sick folks. In this picture they are shown in the home of Mr. and Mrs. A.J. Becker in Lawton, Oklahoma. Listen to a solo by the high tenor Buster Parker.
The trusting heart to Jesus clings, nor any ill forebode, but at the cross of Calvary sings, praise God for lifted load. Singing I go along life's road, praising the Lord, praising the Lord. Singing I go along life's road, for Jesus has lifted my load. The passing days bring many cares, fear not, I hear him say.
And this picture shows them presenting an Easter cantata. Requests from the young married couples and adult singles led to the formation of the Berean Fellowship. This group met regularly for Bible study and fellowship. They were active in community projects. Here you see them cleaning up the debris after the Asatami house burnt down. The Claas Indian family were frequent visitors at Post Oak, conducting special meetings and revival campaigns. Conversions led to baptisms. Here Brother Gerbrandt is baptizing Tommy Asatami. Memorial Day was always observed at Post Oak. The church families not only cleaned the grave sites, but decorated them beautifully. DVBS young people and children singing at the memorial services. Mr. and Mrs. A.J. Becker, missionaries who served with MB Missions for many years, are both buried at the Mission Cemetery. Chief Quanah Parker, his wife, and his mother, Cynthia Ann Parker, were all three buried here. In 1956-57, when the mission was moved into the town of Indiahoma, these graves were moved to Fort Sill Military Headquarters Cemetery. In 1953, after a year of furlough, the church and school were well staffed, so they turned their attention to extension work. There were many Comanches living in Lawton, Oklahoma. This slide shows a group meeting in the home of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Bread for Bible study and prayer meeting. Our next effort was directed toward the Shoshone Indians in Wyoming. Max Pachica had studied at Tabor College, and now he and Lizzie and family moved to Wyoming and began services with the Shoshones. The good news was received readily by a group that you can see on this picture taken on the Wind River Reservation. Another facet of the extension work was carried on at Fort Sill Indian School in Lawton with Navajo students who came from their reservation out west. The Gerbrandts and Ray and Tilly Reimer taught Bible classes there on Sunday evenings. Later, Herman and Ann Neufeld took charge of this work. 2 of the Navajo girls were baptized and became members of Post Oak Mission Church. On this slide you see them in their native Navajo dress. Julia Worker is on the far left, Arlene Bellone on the far right. The 3 Comanche girls in costume are Janice Comachit, Brenda Vumavoya, and Jaquetta Parker. Four members of this family made their confession of faith while we visited them. The old man in this picture told us that many years ago a white man had come through the reservation and had told a similar story we were telling. He now believed in Jesus. The day we left, he called Mr. Gerbrandt and asked him if it were really true that when he got to heaven, he would be able to see again. Being assured that in heaven he would not be blind, he shook the missionary's hand and said, "Then I'll see you in heaven." Telling the good news of the gospel to the Bellone family in Tuba City, Arizona. My interpreter is the lady standing in the doorway.
Buhler, Kansas came to Post Oak in 1949 to take over the church phase of the mission. DJ and Linda Gerbrandt assumed responsibilities of the Post Oak Mission School. This is Herman, pastor of the church, studying in preparation for the Sunday services. This view shows the remodeled church, which was done in 1952. Here is half of the congregation at a Sunday morning service. The missionary couples, Gerbrandt and Neufelds, in the front row. This is the other half of the same congregation. This was a special meeting at which Dick and Linda Gerbrandt were inducted into the Quahada clan of the Comanche tribe. The 2 favorite dishes at every festival or picnic were guinop and yunokop, meaning barbecued beef and fried bread. Here, Thotsi is teaching the missionary women